literally $10,000 less to do this procedure. It doesn't need to cost that much. It's eye-opening, but it's true. It
Literally the same exact surgeon, just comes down to the WellBridge Surgical facility. My out-of-pocket is zero.
Let's go, right?
Let's go.
Hearing all this negative feedback, healthcare costs too much, all these things, right? We built it, and then we were waiting for them to come.
Yeah, let's talk through that. How are you guys able to provide such a high-quality patient experience? From South Bend to Evansville and everywhere in between, this is Get In, the show focused on the Hoosier State and the incredible stories happening here today. I'm Nate Spengel, founder of Get Indiana, and I will be your host for today's conversation. Childhood classmates turned healthcare innovators, Jeff Williams and Dr. Eric Inman are the co-founders of WellBridge Surgical, an Indiana-based surgery center redefining how patients access care. By offering upfront, transparent pricing and lowering costs for families, they're tackling one of the toughest challenges in the United States healthcare system while keeping Hoosiers at the heart of their mission. I'm joined today in studio by both of them. I'm really excited to be, honestly, we're in the presence of royalty. The 1997 Heritage Christian baseball MVP, Jeff Williams, is in the building.
Yes.
Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Guys, I'm really pumped. So, a little bit of backstory for the listeners. My first 2 years, my first job ever was in the health insurance space at a brokerage. I worked for Apex Benefits. Great place to start a career. Perfect for me. At your desk at 8, we left at 5. I learned a lot of guardrails. Insurance is a very buttoned up industry, which clearly by what I am and do today, not the right long-term path for me, but the perfect first place to start. So I know enough about this topic to be dangerous, and I know enough about this topic to know what you guys are doing is going to make perfect sense. And at the end of this episode, everyone's going to be like, why isn't it like that? Like, why isn't that like that for everyone? And there's obviously a lot of big businesses involved in money that changes hands and the whole thing, but we're going to unpack that. And so I'm giving the heads up to the listeners. This is going to be an episode that you will be enlightened at the end of. Am I correct there?
We hope so, yeah.
So during this next, let's say 55 minutes on this journey of healthcare enlightenment across the state of Indiana, I'm really excited. But before we talk about all the crazy innovative things that you guys are up to today, we have to start about the crazy things. We have to start with the crazy things y'all were doing on the rough and tumble streets of Carmel in elementary school where you guys first met, correct?
It all goes back to Mrs. Hoffman. 4th grade. 2 guys that really loved sports and started hanging out through high school, middle school, played basketball, baseball, all sports together.
Yeah.
And lived out of the back of a truck for a little bit during college, lived out of the back of a van.
Wait,
a couple
what?
summers after that together.
Hold on. Okay, so you guys met in 4th grade in Mrs. Hoffman's class in
Mrs.
Carmel.
Hoffman, oh.
You guys ended up, I think by the end of high school, were both at Heritage Christian.
Yep, transferred from Carmel to Heritage.
Okay.
Yep.
You guys played sports together, played basketball?
We played
Baseball
together.
crossed over, yeah.
Okay, so played baseball, became, like from 4th grade on, just lifelong friends?
Lifelong friends. Never been not friends.
Never been not friends.
Yeah.
College comes around. Where do you both end up going?
You know, we like to hop around high schools. We like to hop around colleges as well. So we checked out a lot of different places, but we were roommates together at Taylor University for 1 semester.
Go Trojans.
Yeah, go Trojans. And then I transferred to Olivet Nazarene in Illinois to play basketball.
Is that like the Panthers or they're like some type of cat?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, Tigers.
Tigers. Dang it.
Yeah,
Shout out to Scott Lingle.
Oh, yeah, Scott Lingle.
And Tyler.
He's my boy. Yeah. Yep.
And I transferred. Well, I went freshman year to Purdue, sophomore year Taylor, and then went back to Purdue and graduated there. And actually stayed there for I was there for a total of 5 years because I did or total of 6 years, I guess, because I did first 2 years of medical school at West Lafayette as well.
Okay. Nice. So just lifelong friends. You kind of bounced around to some colleges. You ended up graduating from ONU?
Yep.
Okay. Olivet Nazarene, Purdue, med school, the whole route. Where did you both then move back to Carmel and just continue your lifelong friendship?
Yeah. Moved back to Carmel looking to join the business world and teamed up with a printing company that ended up having a chance to buy into. And so, kind of took that business path where Eric started as an accounting major, so he almost ended up in business with me. Well, ultimately ended up in business with me, but
I did not. After undergrad, I did not pursue anything accounting wise, but I went straight to med school.
Wait, so you have an accounting undergrad degree?
Undergrad degree. Didn't get CPA or anything like that. Don't remember too much from it. But
Wait, they accept accounting undergrads into med school?
Yeah, you got history.
That's crazy.
History
I had no
majors and
idea.
everything, yeah.
Okay, so where then do paths end up crossing it? So we're gonna get into what. Let's talk about one where the idea for WellBridge Surgical came around.
yeah, my family always spends the 4th of July with the Inman's family, and so I like to tell the story my way, and then Eric can fill in his side of the story too. But we're sitting at his pool, and I was like, look at this place, look at this pool. You know, this is the reason why my health insurance is going up at my printing company. And
it had just gone up how many percent? I mean, a significant amount.
It was a significant amount. Yeah, I think the original amount was in the high 30s, and then we had to
percent.
Yeah.
Holy smokes!
Yeah, you know, from the Apex days.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's a big
increase. Yeah, and so we had a $2,500 deductible, and changed it to $5,000 deductible in order to get, I think it was a 23% increase instead. So I was just really grumpy. What do? You take it out on your best friend, right?
Yeah.
Who's the doctor? I don't know any other doctors. I didn't know. I just figured he was the problem. Right?
Who's letting you enjoy the splendors of his pool, and you're like, no, this is the reason. You know, like, it would only be 7% if you had an above ground pool.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. I wish I would have thought of that myself at that moment.
And so he tells me that, and I'm thinking in my mind, and then I'd say out loud, like, well, you know, the actual doctors, the physicians, their reimbursement's going down. You know, and it's been going down, and every year it goes down, not even staying the same. I mean, I'm not even talking about taking inflation into account. I'm saying it's going down regardless. And so I'm saying, yeah, it's not me, it's not us, as far as, you know, saying us being
Who's
the physicians.
yeah.
It's you know, but at that point, you know, now I can say, hey, and I've got some ideas on where that money was going. But at that point, I'm like, no, it's not us. You know, it must be the hospital, insurance companies, you know, anywhere in between. You know, but kind of just was saying it's not us.
Right. Yeah, which was a shocker to me as a business owner. I had no idea, right? They don't necessarily let you in on why there's an increase. It's just that it is, you know, an increase, and yeah, just the ups and downs of, you know, healthcare and whatever, right? I'm like, this is crazy, you know? And so then hearing that it's not coming from the professional fees from the docs, and that's actually being like lowered. We had already been chatting at that point about starting a business together. And I said, I think this is, you know, what we need to do. We need to do something to help lower healthcare costs in Indiana.
On a national stage, where does Indiana rank on the cost of healthcare?
Indiana is, as far as facility fees goes, which was the lion's share of what gets paid for in any event. If we're talking about surgery, it's top 10 as far as really being bottom 10 if you're going towards what the ideal is, but top 10 costs most costly. And then, you know, what I was talking about with Jeff at the pool was saying that the professional fees really aren't that high, and they've been going down. And so we are in the bottom 10 as far as reimbursing surgeons, you know, doctors for professional fees. So as you know, the listeners may or may not know, you got a few different components of, you know, say you have a gallbladder taken out, you got the doctor, the surgeon's getting paid a certain amount, the anesthesiologist, assuming you want to be asleep for that gallbladder removal, they'll get some too.
You ever had anyone that didn't want to be asleep?
And not for a gallbladder.
Yeah, that's
but for, you know, say a colonoscopy maybe, but not for a gallbladder. And then you got pathologist and the pathology lab, and then you got the facility. So the facility is generally, you know, probably around, you know, 85% of the total cost of a procedure, sometimes more. And so top 10 of the states in how costly the facility is, and bottom 10 in how we reimburse the surgeons and the doctors here.
Okay, so give us the whole, how the system traditionally works. So I would say there's a large percentage of individuals who have their health insurance through their employer. Once a company gets X so big, it's a self-funded employer health plan. They are then, you know, I need to get my gallbladder taken out or whatever. They are, you know, I don't know, going through that, filing a claim gets sent to insurance. I don't know. Can you explain through the current traditional system and where all these different layers of margin are?
Yeah, this is something you know you don't learn in med school, and so I've just learned it in the past, say 8 years or so since we really started doing this. Insurance was kind of, I mean, like I think a lot of people think like it's just some magical black box that they pay for everything. Well, that's not really true, especially like you said. You mentioned the self-funded employers. I think 70% of people in Indiana, maybe even higher now, 75%, who get their health plan or health insurance through their employer. It's actually the employer's paying for all of it up to a certain amount. Say $200,000 or something. But so that those self-funded employers are so prevalent around here that they're the one. It's just basically their bank account, but then they're not paying it. The HR director is not writing a check for the gallbladder to the doctors and the facility. So it's the third-party administrator or TPA. The TPA is the one who kind of administers the plan. The self-funded employer can set up the plan. They have the money for it. The TPA administers it.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people know that. It's like I think they basically start transitioning you that way once you get over 100 employees, 100-ish.
I think that's about right.
Yeah, that's about right.
Like right around when that starts happening.
Yep.
And how that works is, if you work at a company that has over 100 employees, I don't know, maybe do a little digging. You're probably on a self-funded plan where there's like a top cap, like reinsurance at the top of this for them, so they don't get like a bazillion-dollar hit on their cash flow. But there's like math involved where I don't know the paying this out. Like I don't know. There's a lot of like quant and what's the name of it? Like a super mathematician? What do they call
The
it?
actuary.
Actuary.
Yeah,
There's
they
a lot
got
of
it all figured out.
Yeah,
on the numbers.
where it's like they're paying and negotiating this whole thing out of pocket. And so you guys learned about this, and you guys they don't teach us in med school, which is wild.
Not at
Especially if
all.
you want to go be like a family doctor or whatever, and you own your own practice. It's like you're just like, okay, I know how to take care of people's health, but the business side of it can be challenging.
Yeah, zero business side in medical school. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
So as you guys dug into this problem, why did you believe that this was the right one to go and tackle, and how do you even start? Changing healthcare is so big, and I'm sure that tons of people have had that idea but have got lost in the actual execution of it.
I thought it was a good 1-2 punch, right? Eric has the experience in the ambulatory surgery center, outpatient surgery center, like what we have, and how to run one of those efficiently. I had the business side and understanding the pain point of a business owner. Really kind of a good 1-2 punch. That way we weren't trying to jump into a business that neither one of us had experience in.
Yeah.
Realistically, my printing company is the buyer for what WellBridge is offering, right? I mean, they're a target audience, self-funded plan, right? So I felt like, we could always use that company as a guinea pig, which we've done.
So what's the first step? You want to start an outpatient fair price surgery center. Mm-hmm. What do you do? Like, how do you say, okay, like who are you getting? Who's the first one?
Dr. Google, man. Dr. Google. We just Googled, Googled it and started trying to figure out. We found Dr. Keith Smith in Oklahoma City. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but
no, not at all.
No, okay.
He's one of the founders of the Surgery Center of Oklahoma.
Yeah, he's like the godfather of transparent priced surgery centers. And so he's been doing it for a lot longer than us. And we Googled it. There's only one at the time. We were the second. So one at a time in the U.S. And so we reached out to Dr. Keith and said, hey, we're thinking about doing this. And, that's kind of step by step.
How long has he been doing this for?
I think late 90s, maybe 1997. And in 2009 was the first time, I believe, that they posted their prices, meaning an all-inclusive price that bundles together all those things we just talked about.
Yeah. So it's like, hey, you can get your gallbladder removed for $17,000 or whatever it is. And it just is crazy because I have no idea. I know the price. Look around our studio. I know the price of everything in here. I know how much it costs to put something like this together. I have no concept of what it costs to do anything related to healthcare. All I know is I need to add another zero to what I think makes sense.
And why
exactly
is
how they planned
right?
it. That's exactly how they planned
exactly.
it.
Yeah. And it's you have no idea. It's like going there. You ever go to one of those fancy steakhouses, where there's no prices on it, and you're just kind of like, well, that might not bankrupt. I hope I'm not going to go with the most bougie sounding meal. So I'll just go with something in the middle and hope that it all pans out.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of how the healthcare experience is.
Market rate. When you see that market rate on the menu, that's going to get scary.
Yeah, exactly. So like, but like, okay, so you talk to this guy, he's been doing it for a while. And then you're like, cool, now we've learned a little bit about how this happens out in Oklahoma City. How do you put it into practice? And how do you convince someone to trust you? Because I do feel like the one thing that with expensive healthcare, people tie price to value. Mm-hmm. So it's like, oh, if I pay $100,000, like my heart transplant should be $6 million.
And if it costs $1,200, then you're looking somewhere else.
Yeah, I don't want to get like I don't want someone like I don't want the $1,200 doctor replacing my heart. Like
why don't you talk about that a little bit, like price versus quality, and then I can talk about trying to convince somebody to come to WellBridge.
Well, and just like how do you get this started?
I think it's a good question, and I think that maybe we didn't even really know when we did start it. Yeah. So it's a good thing we're still here. You have to run into some luck along the way. But what I think when you want to start something like this, well, if we really are trying to get high quality, you got to have somebody that knows the surgeons, has been in there with them, and kind of had a front row seat to several years worth of a lot of different surgeons around the local area. Which I had fortunately had. I didn't really know that as an anesthesiologist that was something I was kind of building, along the way. But relationships with surgeons who I feel like I would be comfortable, recommending my family members or friends to those surgeons versus some other ones that I probably would shield them from. And so building that network of doctors I think is super helpful, and it's one of the components that you need. Another component that you need, so say you got a surgery center, it's beautiful, it's new, it's got all the nice stuff in it, you got surgeons ready to do surgery. Well, what else do you need? You need patients, right? And so if we are to create an active healthcare consumer environment, and getting people to come with price and quality as the things that they're thinking about, well, you have to have an avenue to do that, and really that's where Jeff comes in. You have to have a sales engine, or to really show people, hey, this is what we have to offer, and this is why you should do that. And so Jeff can speak about that, but you need that sales engine. If you don't have it, you're not going to succeed.
The start of this whole thing is to pour a bunch of money into a surgery center.
Yeah.
Yep.
Talk about a risk. Right?
Yeah. Looking back on it, like Eric said, I mean, I'm not sure exactly what we were thinking, but like we need surgeons, we needed a building. Right, and we're deciding to finally pull the trigger in April of 2020. We all know what was going on then. I'm like, this is a great time to start a business because surely we'll be able to get a good deal on some real estate. So, try to be.
So at the same time, you're kind of using your network of surgeons. Are those scary asks to make? Where it's like, hey guys, like trust, like this is gonna be the next big thing. Like if you come perform, and I know that you're performing it over here for, I don't know, 10 times more. But if you come here, like we could help innovate healthcare.
Yeah, I think the pitch is that you don't have to stop what you're doing. You can work where you're working right now. What we're doing is creating a different referral pathway. So like I said, the active healthcare consumers, and saying that we can increase your market share. We're going to have patients over here, and they're going to come here for lower price but higher quality. So we're gonna get some patients that way, and then if you want to participate with us, we trust you, we like you, I've known you for a while. Why don't you come over here and participate, and we'll increase your market share while also increasing your professional fee. So
that is a phrase that I don't think equates to most people. Lower cost, higher quality.
Right.
Like that's we had Martha Hoover on. She's the founder of Cafe Patachu, and she talks about. When people associate value, they think of getting the most for the least. Like they want to get the most food. So like a lot of people, when they think they're getting a value, they think of the value menu at McDonald's. Mm-hmm. And you get 8 hamburgers for $8. And it's like, well, is that really value? Like, depending on how you, like, do you want the most shitty food for the least amount of money? I don't know, or do you want the most value at the fairest price? Sure. And so that's just like an interesting way when you think through the economics of all these things. Like, hey, we're going to come over and we're going to give you a higher quality for a lower price, but we're going to increase the surgeon's professional fee. And it's just interesting. And from the fact of, are they coming from, like, what's their day job? Like, what's their home base usually?
All the surgeons we work with work at hospitals, and so they do some surgeries at hospitals. Sometimes you can't do an outpatient surgery. You get patients who are sicker, or certain types of procedures that need to be done within the the walls of the hospital, and other surgery centers too that they work at.
Do you see the potential for hospitals to work like a no outsourced or no extracurricular surgeries in their contracts?
Oh, they do.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, the ones who are employed by the hospitals do have some of that going on, and it's just because they're
worried.
They want to keep their.
Oh, yeah.
They think that they own the patients, and when we don't believe that.
Wow.
We're supporting the independent surgeon groups.
Yeah.
So these are 1099, not W-2, and so it's a new revenue stream for them.
Yeah. So these are the same doctors that might be performing the same exact surgery down the street at name brand hospital in Indiana here.
Sure.
Okay. And it's like, no, well, if the right factors, kind of like let them come and get it done at WellBridge, and it's going to be a large majority less of the price, but more professional service fee.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay.
And we own the bundle.
So you can control that when you have the whole pie. So say you have, we'll go with a gallbladder example. So say you have a gallbladder done, and it costs $20,000 at the hospital because all the pieces of the pie put together are that. Well, we have the piece of the pie, the only payment that's made for the surgery from the payer or the TPA or the patient or whoever it is. That payment is about is $10,000, well, a little bit under $10,000. But let's just say it's $10,000, so that's about half the amount that it would be at the hospital. That bundled payment gets paid to us, and so WellBridge can discern which how big a piece of pie goes the surgeon, the anesthesiologist, and so forth. And so we're able to increase that surgeon fee and say, not only are we going to increase your market share, but we're also going to increase the amount you get paid. And we can do that, which is part of the unbelievable part we started off with. And people are like, what? How can that make sense? It makes sense because it's literally $10,000 less to do this procedure. And it doesn't need to be, like Jeff said initially, it doesn't need to cost that much. It's eye-opening, but it's true.
Let's talk through the timeline it takes to build this, because I do think one piece of healthcare is slow moving, it's complex, and there's a lot of different pieces, and there's a lot of trust. Like I do think, like when you're talking about getting a gallbladder, like I don't necessarily know if I want the cheapest option. If it means I'm going to sacrifice quality. If. Right. Yes. So like when you don't want to be known as, like, I think then there are different areas within healthcare, like very where it's like, I don't know, cheap this, that, or the other thing, like cheap vasectomies or whatever, you just go, it's like, dude, I don't want
to pay full price for that.
Yeah. Like I want someone who knows what they're doing. So April 2020, you guys are like, let's go get this. You get a facility. Like that's first step.
A building, basically.
A building.
Yeah. We had to retrofit it in a four OR facility. So we bought the building, got under contract. I think it was June of 2020. Bought it in October 2020, and gutted it December of 2020 end to end, and started the process of building it back up into a 4 OR.
Yeah. Okay. So you're building 4 ORs there in this facility. You buy the building. What does it cost to create 4 ORs?
A lot.
Yeah, I'm like you're invested into this. Like,
we're all in. Yeah.
You're all in, and you're not. It's not making any money for the foreseeable future.
I mean, you've seen the movie Field of Dreams, right?
Yeah.
I recently watched that again. It's been maybe 10 years since I'd seen it. And I texted Eric. I was like, dude, you got to watch this weekend, because we built it, right? Hearing all this negative feedback, healthcare costs too much, all these things, right? We built it, and then we were waiting for them to come, right?
Why aren't they lined up outside?
Right. Where is everybody? Where is
especially
everybody?
when it because you're so in it that it makes sense to you. You're like, who wouldn't want the same or better quality, for a lower price? Like, duh.
Like in the movie when you'd hear like a whisper, from the corn, right? We were like, it's a whisper of like, surgery. I need surgery. I'm like, who needs surgery? Jeff Williams. WellBridge Surgical. Can I tell you about what we're doing? And literally one of our first surgeries was the receptionist at one of my doctor's offices. And I was just chatting it up with her, telling her about WellBridge Surgical. And she signed up and came over, right? That's why literally, like.
She needed a surgery.
Surgery? Yeah.
The trust that she has in you all.
Yeah.
Of like,
She's
Yeah.
known me forever. And she was like, what are you doing again? She's like, oh yeah, I need surgery. I was like, come on over. Yeah, we'll help you out. But
Okay, so
yeah.
that,
And,
what
and
year
to
is
be
that
fair,
in?
it wasn't Jeff doing the surgery. But
no,
Yeah,
I'm not doing any. I'm not.
What year?
not
What
doing
year
that.
was that?
That would have been 2022,
22,
early 2022.
Yep.
Yeah, 2022 was rough. 2022 is our field of dreams.
Wait. You got this. You started the reno December of 2020.
We opened December of
open
21.
1 year
12
later, so,
1
so
year
not
later.
too long of a turnaround, really.
So a year to build it.
Yep.
But like you're saying not too long. I'm like, in startup, that's a long, like 12 months with nothing, like no income coming.
Well,
Like,
and then you got 22 on top of that. Once we opened, right? You got really 24 months. On
yeah.
that.
So like, tell me, like, were there times where you're like, what the heck are we doing here? Like, I could just be in the printing business doing just fine.
Yeah.
I could go back and just like, keep my cushy job and sit by the pool and like, I'm chilling. You're like, why do I need to do, like, why do this?
Yeah, I think, for me, it's legacy, right? You
Yeah.
know, you're doing something that's really making a difference, and proving out that you can, make a difference and put money back in people's pocket, and we can still make money, right? We can.
Yeah, like, this is not a nonprofit. It's not like you guys
this
aren't
is
like,
a for-profit.
Yeah.
We're paying real estate taxes on our surgery center. This is not a, nonprofit.
real estate taxes on our surgery. Like,
like to point that out.
This is why, that's why, you have
The hospital systems don't do that. So
Yeah.
Oh.
That's my point.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is like that's the accountant undergrad right there, right?
Right.
Like, yeah,
right.
coming back.
Heck of a CFO over here.
Yeah,
really.
come on. Yeah. So, talk to us about the difference. Why are you able to make it significantly cheaper to use WellBridge?
There's a lot of unnecessary intermediaries in between, different companies that don't actually necessarily need to be there when you're dealing with the free market, which is what we're dealing with. Knowing exactly what it's going to cost, knowing what the quality is, then you can make a good consumer, healthcare consumer decision. Some of those companies aren't needed anymore. Number one. Number two, we own the facility. The facility is a huge piece of the expense and of a surgery, and lo and behold, maybe you don't need to be making those kind of margins on the facility, or at least we don't. Those are some of the factors. I'll let Eric talk about some of his thoughts too.
I think with the alternative in Indianapolis or Central Indiana being the hospital-owned hospitals or hospital-owned surgery centers, that them costing about twice as much as us. I think really the answer lies in a few different areas, but one of them is, and I remember reading a book about how many administrators and how much non-physician staff the hospital has to have per patient. It's a lot. So there's a lot of redundancy. There's a lot of fluff overhead that we don't have to deal with. The only reason they do deal with it is because they've got maybe they're not for profit, but they've got a huge surplus. They don't call it a profit; it's a surplus. They have a lot of it, and so there is a lot of money there.
Hospitals have to solve other problems too, right? Like, it's not just, I don't want to say just, but like, there is a specific menu of surgery options that you guys offer, right? But it's not necessarily like ultra complex brain surgery.
Yeah, no brain, no heart, no spine is what we
Yeah.
like to say. 'Cause we're multi-specialty, so
Yeah.
but those are the three areas. So yeah, there's stuff that's needed for inpatient. There's folks that maybe aren't fit health-wise for an outpatient setting. There's plenty of.
Like, I don't think that this is an argument saying that like, there's not a call for hospital. Like, there's still a
not
need
at
for
all.
hospital. ERs, that whole.
Sure.
They're just so big that like this specific piece of outpatient surgery is, you guys are saying like, can be up to around twice as expensive as what you guys are able to do.
Well, up to more than
Yeah,
that, but
more.
on average about
Yeah.
twice as
Wow.
expensive.
Yeah. You named a city early on when you kicked us off here that is we're probably 60% less than.
I
So,
named a city.
Yeah,
I'm assuming
and-
you're talking about Fort Wayne.
yes,
Oh, well, I did see this because, back when my healthcare days,
Evansville as well. But.
we talked about this study, RAND. Is
The
it
RAND study,
RAND
yeah.
study,
Right.
RAN.
That's when we knew we might actually make it because we didn't do any market research. Rand, when it came out, did our market research for us. And we're like, look, see, we were right.
Yeah, and it was like I don't know if we're gonna name drop. Like, this is public information, right?
Right. Everybody knows that.
Yeah,
Everybody knows what
was
you're
like
about ready to say.
370%, if I remember the number right, of Actually, I don't want to quote. They were a large amount bigger than, is it
Much higher.
percent of Medicaid?
Yeah.
Medicare?
Medicare is what people
Medicare.
say, yep.
That's like the standard which they use. They say like it is X percent more than Medicare, and it was hundreds, I
Right.
believe. I don't know the exact number. And so this was like Parkview is a huge hospital system up in Fort Wayne. How does that happen? Like, how do you get to be X amount percent? Like almost, I don't know, egregious? Is that egregious? I don't know.
I don't know if we can even speak to that, right?
Ah, okay, all right.
All we know is that this random print guy and a random anesthesiologist figured out how to lower, your outpatient surgery costs between 50 and 60%.
Okay.
We pretty much spelled it out, but it's the case. After being open for almost 4 years now, I've been waiting for somebody to sideswipe us and say like, "Ha, you missed this" or whatever. I don't know what that was going to be. And we're still here. We're growing like crazy, and that we still haven't had that moment, right, where we're like, oh, hey, you missed out on this. So I don't know if we necessarily know why everyone else is.
What was the moment that you knew this was going to work?
I think sometime in 2023. So one of the biggest differences, and what we do is that we're direct contracting, right? So cutting out all those middlemen companies, in the middle, and direct contracting with the self-funded plans. And so I think at that time we were probably up to maybe 25, 30 range, plus or minus. And we're starting to see traction out of those accounts. That was when I realized that, hey, we're going to make it. It's still going to be a long road, but we're going to make it. And so as you know, from being at Apex, the renewal season, most renewals are 1/1 renewals. And so you got, as a salesperson at WellBridge, you've got one season to land as much business as you can. Yeah, I can just see it growing year over year during those renewal seasons. And 23 is where I started to realize, we're gonna make it over the hump here.
Were there any of those first big customers like that you got on that really helped spark more?
Oh, yeah.
Early adopters?
Yeah. Whitestown, city of Whitestown.
Yeah.
Yeah, Katie Barr, give a shout out to her. She's a boss.
Come on.
Haynes International up in Kokomo, or really early adopters, really early adopters. Melissa up there is also a boss. And so you get those going, and you're proving out the model, and then you see others starting to come on board, And you think too is on the employer side of things, the healthcare costs are getting so outrageous that you can see that your employees just can't handle the cost, right? Number one reason for bankruptcy in America is medical debt.
Yeah.
And businesses care about their employees. And so how the businesses are going to have to react, right? And we're one of the few ways that they can lower it. And so I started to see that in 2023 as well. Like, there's no other levers for these self-funded plans to pull. Now RX, Sharks, and others. There's some other additional options, but you got to figure out something to lower healthcare costs for your employees. Yeah. And the great thing at WellBridge is that if you direct contract with us and in what we call zero tier, the surgery for the employee is free because they've been a good healthcare consumer and chose WellBridge, and that's pretty good value prop.
And that can help the bottom line of your plan,
sure,
as well as getting high quality care to your employees.
Sure, yeah, it's a win-win. It's a win for the employee because they get great patient experience. We haven't talked about that yet, but great patient experience, great quality outcome, and they're not having to pay for the surgery. The plan's picking up the full bill.
Yeah.
Right. And then the plan is seeing, a great amount of savings and a quality outcome for their employee. And WellBridge gets to do the surgery. So it's, it's a win-win-win.
Yeah. And it's crazy. You don't hear a lot about every time people want to know who's getting got. Like someone's got to be getting got.
Sure.
Here. And it's like, well, if you explain it all out, it makes sense. And that's the revelation that I was hoping by the end of the show that everyone's going to get. And when hearing about this, I do want to, I found the data. So I usually want to clarify.
Sure.
So Parkview Health, this is from the Journal Gazette out of Fort Wayne. This is the RAND study, RAND Corp. List of highest relative prices medical providers nationwide are charging. Okay, so Parkview Health placed in the top 10% of that list. So I think of the 303 healthcare systems studied, Parkview ranked number 27. So that is, top 10% there. IU Health placed number 32. And then actually, Community Health was number 205. So that's pretty, just talking about, on this list, the RAND study, they said this is reported in Sherry Slater from the Journal Gazette. That's where our source is. Sometimes people want to make sure we're putting out numbers.
For sure.
There you go. So that's what we were talking about there. You did mention patient experience.
Yeah.
Let's talk through that. How are you guys able to provide such a high quality patient experience?
Yeah, I think the bar wasn't set real high to begin with. As Eric likes to say, everybody's family or your friends all have a story, a healthcare story. And so the bar's not set real high anyways, but to be a human instead of a number is really kind of what we focus on. So from the point of saying that you need surgery, we've got a software called Clara where, you're interacting with WellBridge through there, one point of contact. You're filling out all your paperwork there as well. So it's really easy if you come in and you're with an employer that is zero tiered, really all you have to do day of surgery is show your ID. That's it. And so just from that aspect, how many times have you walked in and now it might be on a tablet or whatever, but you're still filling out the same information over and over and over again. So just that in itself I like to refer myself as a mortal at WellBridge because I'm not medical, but as a mortal, that drove me crazy. I mean, and then when you walk in, just the smell of WellBridge doesn't smell real hospitally. In our lobby, we've got coffee and different sodas and drinks available. It's bright, it's airy. Although if you're a patient, you should not be drinking anything when you come in. That's kind of a big deal. But anyways, we just tried to make it, a better experience, and Eric can talk about the nurses and the folks that he recruited, but also letting the nurses cut them loose on, loving on the patients and making sure it's a great experience to even in between our pre-op, post-op bays, we have drywall instead of curtains for more privacy. That's a really big deal. Our discharge area, you don't have to walk back through the lobby. It's back off of pre-op, post-op. So once you leave the lobby, you don't have to come back through. Why is that a big deal? Like nobody wants to come back through the lobby where everybody's at after they've had surgery and they're groggy or they've got bandages on, So it's all those little things that add up to a better patient experience.
And I tell people that, we're really pushing for the active healthcare consumerism, and we're really the on the forefront of the free market surgery, free market outpatient surgery side. And so really what we have to do is we have to have a high quality product or we won't have any patients. We're not just relying on surgeons to bring patients, to us blindly from their offices. We haven't bought, like hospital systems who've bought primary care providers and they are forced to send us patients. It's not that way. So we're free market. We have to have high quality or we won't get any patients. And so having experience at a lot of other surgery centers and hospitals around town, we were able to fine-tune that, take best practices in terms of some of the things that Jeff said to create that better patient experience, as well as the higher quality outcomes too. That's a big deal. Like Jeff mentioned, getting the staff that we have, nurses, techs, et cetera. You will never get to 0% complications, but what you can do is you can approach zero more closely by making those small decisions that Jeff was talking about, and it kind of goes over to the outcomes and the experience.
The problem that you guys are addressing is very, very important. I don't know the exact number, just from like a quick little search. Like there are tens of millions of Americans that are suffering from medical debt, that are in financial hardship. I don't know if you guys have like a number that you use, but
No, we don't.
The number is a lot.
Staggering.
Yeah. That, you end up needing, whether it's emergency surgery or just any sort of this healthcare costs, and you go in there and you have no idea what the invoice on the other end is going to look like.
Right.
And it puts a lot of people, I'm sure it has to be if not the highest, a very high contributing factor to bankruptcy.
Mm-hmm.
It just can put people in a bad spot.
Yeah.
So the work you're doing is the problem is very apparent. I think you have your hands full, obviously trying to not only help Hoosiers, but what's the plan for the future for WellBridge? Do you want to continue to expand?
Yeah, for sure we do. And we already have people coming in, medical tourism. was before COVID, right? You're going down to some island to get your knee replaced, right? And that kind of got blown up.
Yeah, you go to
during
Turkey
COVID.
go to Turkey to get the hair transplant.
Yeah.
That's all over my TikTok feed right now. Just saying, there's a reason I wear a hat everywhere I go.
I'll join you
there.
over there. Yeah,
a little
in
medical
Istanbul.
tourism trip. Come
Yeah,
on.
let's do it. And so we think, it's obviously a lot easier to come to Central Indiana to have a surgery that is going to be high quality and you know what the price is going to be. So we've had, as far as I know, and Eric, you can jump in here, but as far west as Nebraska for folks coming in to the East Coast, New Jersey, down to Florida. So we already have folks coming in Canada, have some Canadians coming down. So, I mean, it's not just Indiana that we're serving, but that is a majority of where the self-funded groups are from, would be Indiana, but we're branching into some other states now as well. But yeah, so just pointing out the medical tourism piece. But yeah, we would like to expand. We'd like to put more of these up. We're looking at number 2, as we speak. So
yeah, give us, as we kind of close this out and go into a final segment of the show, give us a sense for where we are today. Like this started, you guys it took 12 months to build out this facility, 4 ORs, and a lot of hard work on the sales side, building partnerships, getting people to trust that you guys were, one, going to provide a fair and equitable pricing strategy, structure, as well as equal/above average patient experience. Like that takes a ton of work. Catch us up, where are we at in 25 as we're looking into 26?
Yeah, so we have about 90 Indiana businesses signed up, which equals about 100,000 Hoosier lives that can get a free surgery, right? That's pretty sweet.
That's
right?
insane.
Yeah. So I mean, the numbers are public, but we know we've hit profitability. So and we're in the Fast 25 this year. So
Congrats! What number?
What number were we?
6 or 7.
Yeah, 6. I think we were 6.
Hey,
yeah.
We don't want to get too high because we want to have room to grow. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, right, for sure. So I think, what was that, 5.3 top line? Continuing to grow. And so I think this year, we hope to almost double that number. Just keep reaching out to Hoosier businesses and surrounding states now as well.
Yeah. What kind of business owners need to be thinking about how they could incorporate this into their strategy?
Yeah. If you're at a business and you're the CFO or head of HR and you're looking for ways to lower your healthcare costs, we're about 20% of the spend, and we're saving 50% on that 20, right? So it's a pretty big number.
So outpatient surgery is typically 20%
Ish.
of total self-funded plan.
Yep.
Relative.
Roughly.
And so this could cut that down to 50% of the 20%.
Right. So it's a big number. I mean, talking in a lot of cases, we do cost studies for the plans and millions,
A big piece of all of this, when you think through CFO / the HR side, is pain. Pain as in like changing, whether it's insurance, cards, open enrollment, all that stuff. Like you could come in there with like the greatest idea ever, and they're like, but it's gonna tick off my employee. It's like the juice isn't worth the squeeze of pissing everybody off.
And that's one of the good things about WellBridge is that you don't have to stop whatever else you're doing. You don't even, you won't achieve any savings if you don't utilize that extra benefit of WellBridge being zero tiered. But you don't. There's no other.
Yeah, but
you aren't losing out. You can go wherever you want.
Yeah.
But if you go to WellBridge, as a patient, well, maybe you don't owe that $3,000 out of pocket.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Okay, so let's put it in legit terms. Well, I work for an employer that has a normal traditional insurance plan and has the zero tier with WellBridge. So I'm on like a high deductible health plan. My deductible might be $3,000. My out-of-pocket max is $10,000. I don't know, whatever it is. If I go to a traditional hospital system, I'll end up hitting my deductible, so paying the $3,000 out of pocket, and then whatever portion over and above that, you end up, writing a check for a decent amount out of pocket.
Yeah.
As well as your employer is then covering
The rest
in the beginning.
Right.
So it might be whatever, tens of thousands of dollars probably total spend between both parties there.
Sure.
Or you implement the zero tier with WellBridge. Me as the employee, it pays $0. You could potentially get the same exact surgeon from down the street that was going to perform it anyway.
That's happened. Yeah, we
That's
had,
like literally
last week we had somebody say, "Hey, I'm scheduled for this surgery here. But I just found out that my benefit is zero out of pocket if I go to WellBridge. Use the same surgeons because they work with us too.
Yeah.
So it is that literally happens.
Literally the same exact surgeon just comes down to the WellBridge Surgical facility, performs the same outpatient surgery, and my employer might have a 50% reduction on what their out of pocket would be, and my out of pocket is zero.
Bingo.
Correct.
You got it.
I don't know how many finance professionals and HR professionals listen to the show, but that seems pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah. Let's go. Right.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Come on.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense to me. Is the hardest part for you guys signing up new businesses and getting them to buy in, or educating the employee that this is not Dollar General surgery?
Yeah. It's a two-step process.
Yeah.
So we'll give the folks that sign up for Zero Tier, we'll give them monthly content that they can be pushing out to their employees to help overcome that. But yes, that is something that needs to be overcome. Some of the wanting to travel, not really wanting to drive down from northern Indiana or up from southern Indiana is a piece. So a lot of employers from those areas will give a travel benefit, cover travel expenses and a hotel, and on top of it being free, right? And so anything to be able to incentivize, So educating them is hard. In 2022, that was the big thing. Like, what do you do again? Like, what was your other business? You're in the printing industry, and now you're doing surgeries. Overcoming that was not for the faint of heart.
From swag to surgery, right?
Yeah, from swag to surgery. I like that. I was working earlier this year on I'm going around a rabbit trail here, but on two different screens. And on one screen, I was working on a T-shirt design, and on the other screen, I was working on a toe removal. And it hit me at that point in time that I could be the only human ever to have been working on those two things at the same time. It was a moment for me.
Like, I think the list of humans that have worked on a toe removal in general is just small. Like, I don't know.
You'd have to ask this guy.
I don't know how many toes get removed a year. Like, can't be that many.
Yeah.
And the only T-shirt designing toe removal specialist. Like, that's
right here.
Pretty solid.
This guy.
You are a one of one. The only Heritage Christian baseball MVP that designs shirts and works.
Yeah. That we can be sure of. Yes.
That we can be sure of. And 1997 State Fair champ with chickens as well. I'm just going to throw that
Hey, man, he's a farmer. Come on. Gentlemen, this has been awesome. I think that learning more about this story, it takes serious risk tolerance to go all in on innovating such a legacy, complex business. Like, healthcare is not easy to understand, even if you are in it every day. And I think lots of times, similar to the genesis of your guys' story with WellBridge, healthcare providers can either A, get a bad rap, or B, find out once they get into it, oh, wow, hospitals are businesses. Like, that's what's an interesting piece. I think the majority of providers go into this because they want to make a difference in people's lives. They want to provide the absolute best healthcare patient experience. And then you realize that, the hospitals are also a business and you have to make money. And then how do you put a cap of what's fair and what's egregious? And there just becomes a lot more pieces of that pie. So to simplify this outpatient experience to provide excellent care at a fair price, still, make a fair profit, but not maybe, go to some extremes. I think that is a very commendable mission to be on and journey to be on. And I've loved learning more about it.
Yeah. Thanks for having us on, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, we get to round it out by talking all things Indiana.
Yeah.
So this will be fun. First question is brought to you by our friends at JC Hart. They're a leader in creating enjoyable living experiences at apartment communities all across Indiana and beyond. Check them out at homeisjchart.com. My question for you, we'll start with Jeff.
Sure.
Why do you call Indiana home?
I never knew this growing up as a phrase, but the Hoosier hospitality, it's real, right? Once you start traveling to other states and doing business in other states, this is it's a great group of people, great business environment as well. And if you want to get out of Indiana for the weekend, we got a great airport, lots of direct connections. And you can always, get out for the weekend and then make your way back. But yeah, it's a great state. I think it's the best state in the union.
Best state. There we go. And he really, really likes San Antonio and the Stockyards. So that's high praise.
Fort Worth Stockyards. Yeah.
Sorry, not San Antonio. My bad. Eric, Doc.
Yep.
Why do you call Indiana home?
I could never live anywhere that doesn't have all 4 seasons. So I love the 4 seasons. Couldn't live really. That kind of rules out the South. I think it's a great place to raise kids. We got 3 kids. I like running a lot, and so I run pretty often. And at least where I live, right around central Indiana, there's not many hills because I don't like running on hills. So got a lot of flat land to run around.
Amen. I just did. We're training for. We're doing the Zion Crossing. We were originally going to do rim to rim to rim at the Grand Canyon,
Wow.
and it's on the North Rim's on fire, so you can't do it. So we pivoted. We're doing Zion
Make you run
Crossing.
faster.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Get in there, get out. But we did 31 on Saturday through Eagle Creek, 1,500 feet of elevation, and 1,500 feet feels like a mountain in Indiana. Like if you're used to the Monon Trail, like even getting 1,500 feet, you're like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be the death of me, right?
For sure.
So I agree. I love just crushing some miles, flat land. It's amazing. I love it. We got to kind of have some rapid fire questions for you here. What was the first memory of meeting each other at Collegewood Elementary?
The lunchroom. We like to put grapes down in the area where you kind of enter the lunchroom and see if people would step on them. That's a
Heck yeah.
that's well
Very
probably my first
advanced technique of
Very.
Is
entertainment.
that 4th grade?
Yeah.
I mean, what 4th grader doesn't live?
So
to
yeah,
do
the
that?
fifth graders coming by, they're the only ones that eat after us, and we just thought it was so hilarious if a 5th grader would step on the grapes we put out there.
Yeah,
I probably still find it hilarious.
I mean,
actually.
yeah. You guys don't know I planted grapes at the front door here.
I guess my first memory would be running around the parking lot, and I was telling my kids about that last night.
On the mile run?
Doing the mile run.
Oh,
Yeah.
geez, yeah. He's always been a runner. I'm not a runner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The presidential fitness test? Come on. What is a hidden talent that the other one of you might not know about each other?
So I fell off a cliff once, and I didn't die. So
Wait,
I used to think
Jeff.
I was really.
I wasn't actually there for
Hold
this,
on,
but I
hold
heard of
on.
the story.
But Jeff, if your friend jumped off a cliff, would you jump off too? Is that a
I'd
question?
probably go after
Isn't that a question that parents ask?
Yeah,
like
right.
if your friend was jumping
Yeah.
off a cliff,
Yeah.
would you follow?
Yeah. I didn't jump. Well, I didn't jump. Or at least I don't
He
think
fell.
so. The rock I was holding on to just kind of, it was like a slate rock. It just fell back, so I fell down, and
How far?
I fell. It seemed I thought I was going to die, and so I didn't die. So I was like, I always tell people, I'm one thing that I'm really really good at it is falling without getting hurt. And then a year and a half ago, I fell during a indoor soccer game, and tore my ACL. So I don't know if I can say that anymore. But
Wait, how tall was this cliff?
I mean, I fell maybe 25 feet or something like that. I don't know how far.
This
it was.
Laying on
was
your
in the
back?
Rose Bowl, right? They went out for
This
the Rose
was
Bowl.
this was when Purdue,
Purdue.
Yeah,
in the Rose Bowl.
shout out
Yeah.
to Seth Morales.
Yeah, for
Drew
sure.
Brees. Come on.
That's right. Yeah, so we were out there. They were playing Washington, and we were in Palm Springs and climbing up, climbing, just doing stuff that college kids do, climbing on the side of a cliff, and fell, and it was pretty far. But all I did was just cut up my head and face and stuff. So still looks all right.
Did you still go to the game? Was
We
it
did.
before or after the game?
I believe it was after the game. Yeah, I believe we'd already gone to the game.
Did someone have
It's a
to
little
call,
fuzzy.
Did someone have to call your mom and say like, "Yo, this is"?
Oh, I don't remember
he
that.
fell off a
We
cliff.
had to go. Yeah, we had to go down to the Palm Springs Hospital, but had to get an extra.
And you know what? I bet he had to pay 20%
that bill
or
was-
200% more.
yeah, still on my parents back then. So
Yeah. And like that's crazy. Okay. Jeff, hidden talent?
I don't know if I've got anything. I'm trying to think through that. Eric knows me, I guess, too well.
I mean, is there a
Well,
talent
the
that most people don't
chicken
know?
breeding is pretty good, but I know
But you
about
know
that, so
that.
that
Yeah,
doesn't
they know
count.
that.
Just one in
Yeah.
general? Is there just like a hidden talent that you have?
A lot about chickens. I know a lot about donuts. I know a lot about printing, and I know a lot about lowering healthcare costs. I know that's it.
Why chicken and donuts?
Chickens, the State Fair champ.
Yeah.
93 to 97. And then donuts was my first job. I worked at Maplehurst Bakeries out in Brownsburg, still there. And for 1 year making donuts. So I know a lot. I was on the field line. So I know a lot about Bavarian. I know a lot about raspberry.
Oh, raspberry cream. This is for Krispy Kreme?
No, it was for Maplehurst Bakeries. Yeah, they produce for like Winn-Dixie, or at least back then, Winn-Dixie, Publix, Costco, groups
Oh,
like that.
so like the house donuts for them or whatever?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. I mean, I love a raspberry filled donut.
Hey, man, I could have hooked you up back in the day.
Dude, what the heck? All right, gentlemen, we've come to the final 3 questions of the show. These are the same 3 questions that we ask everyone who comes on. We'll go Jeff, Doc, Jeff, Doc. Cool?
Okay.
All right, Jeff, What's something the world needs to know about Indiana?
The dunes, Indiana dunes.
Oh, people need to know about the dunes.
Yeah, I
they
think
don't know
so.
we have coastline here.
Right, exactly. Like if you ask somebody,
Is that coastline? I guess it could count as
yeah,
coastline.
it's coastline. Look at it up
mean-
there. It's right there. It's coastline.
That's coastline, baby.
Yeah.
I think it's like I don't know, 70 miles or something.
Yeah, I don't think anybody knows about the dunes. And
They need to know about that.
Most people don't even know where to find Indiana on a map.
Amen to that.
You know?
Doc, what do more people need to know about Indiana?
I think most people don't understand this, and you hear this from people outside of Indiana, but I don't think they'd appreciate just how nice of a kind of family place it is to raise a family.
Yeah. Okay, Doc, we're going right back at you. This is where you get to shed some light on a part of the state that more Hoosiers need to know about. So first question is all about, people outside of the state, down in Fort Worth. What are you bragging about? This one is, how do we take the most advantage of our state? What is a hidden gem in Indiana?
Brown County State Park, like areas down there where you got the Hoosier National Forest.
Yeah.
I'd like to know more about that and explore that a little bit more myself.
Brown County is a mountain biking mecca. It is nationally known for how good the mountain biking is there. You can get thousands of feet of vert through Brown County. It's pretty intense, pretty cool. Jeff, what's a hidden gem in Indiana?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Friendship, Indiana.
Friendship.
Yeah, I think their saying is the friendly people or something like that. Really cool spot, Southern Indiana. Yeah, I don't think very many people have heard about it.
Friendship, Indiana is an unincorporated community in Ripley County. That's down by Batesville. Wow, known for its large twice yearly Friendship Flea Market, which runs for 9 days in June and September, located along State Road 62. Look at that.
Yeah.
Friendship.
It's a cool little spot.
Wait, what'd you say the thing was? The saying?
I think they said the friendly people. It might just be Friendship State Bank that's their tagline. I don't know.
Are they out of? Are they is Friendship State Bank
Yeah,
from
Friendship State Bank. Yeah.
The town sign in Friendship, Indiana features the saying, "Come as a stranger, leave as a friend."
There we go.
That's
See?
great.
Yeah.
That's so
It's great, right?
That's
It's a
good-
really cool little spot. They're not going to be there very long.
I want to do a segment that's top 10 small town sayings. That's a really good one. Come as a
That's a good
stranger,
one,
leave
right?
as a
Yeah.
friend.
Friendship, Indiana.
I was in Siberia, Indiana.
Wow.
Oh,
I've never heard of that one.
Siberia, Indiana.
Where's that at?
In Davies County, which is right out there.
Right.
Okay, so Siberia, Indiana also has a great,
that's a
great
good one.
tagline.
Yeah.
It's "Welcome to Siberia, cold in name, warm in heart."
Yep.
That's so great.
Only
I
in the
love that.
Hoosier State.
Yeah, all right. I love it. Okay, final question for y'all. This is how we get recommendations for future guests and learn about cool people making huge impacts across the state. Who's a Hoosier we need to keep on our radar? Someone who's doing big things.
Have you had Andrea Sloan on yet?
No.
She's doing big things, and she's a veteran working in construction and just killing it. And I think that's cool. She's in Indiana.
Where's
She's
she
an Indiana
at?
girl. She's here in Indianapolis.
For what company?
Groundbreakers.
Groundbreakers. What's
Yep.
Groundbreakers?
It's huge trucks that suck, stuff out of the sewer systems for
boy.
utilities or what. I don't even know what it does, to be honest. You ever seen those big trucks like Badger driving around? It's got the big vacuum on it.
Yeah.
She's like the local version of that.
So you could say
She's got a
they're
good story.
You could say her company sucks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 100%.
Heck yeah, Andrea.
Yeah.
Let's talk.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's my shout out. She's doing big things for Hoosier State.
Gentlemen, it was a pleasure to have you in the studio
Thanks
today,
for having us.
talking about all the amazing things that you're doing with WellBridge Surgical. I think taking a massive risk, especially when it took 24 months ish to start to see some traction. I think entrepreneurship's already scary in general, and so going after and a market that is so, again, complex and kind of old school and confusing at times for the average person like myself. I'm grateful to have people like you all solving these complex problems for us and trying to create as good of experience as possible for Hoosiers. Thank you so much for doing that. It was a pleasure to learn about your journey, your story. Keep up the good work. If people want to connect with you, if employers want to talk about options they might have for their health plan, or if individuals might want to explore outpatient surgery, how can they do that, and how can they connect with each of you?
Yeah, you can connect with me at jeffw@wellbridgesurgical.com.
Yep, I'm Eric I, so ERICI at wellbridgesurgical.com. Yep. Jeff's probably the one you aim for, but
Yeah, who are the right people that should reach out and talk to y'all who you're looking to meet?
Yeah, CFOs of self-funded plans, HR directors of self-funded plans, reach out, shoot me an email, and I would love to give you a tour of the facility and show you what we got going on.
And I'd say anybody who really wants to have a high quality experience and high quality outcomes and maybe save some money in the meantime.
Heck yeah. I love it, gentlemen. Thanks for coming on the show. Congrats on all your success. Keep up the good work, and we will talk soon.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Get In. If you like what you heard, make sure you leave us a review wherever you listen to podcasts. This show is made possible by our friends up at Sweetwater. Whether you're looking to start a podcast or take your content to the next level, click the link in the description to see all of my gear recommendations at sweetwater.com. If you want a behind-the-scenes look at everything we're doing across the state, make sure you follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Nate Spangle. Thank you so much for listening and being part of what makes the Hoosier State great. We'll see you next time here on Get In.